Good afternoon, it's Pastor Marty from the Afternoon Drive. Meghan McCain, daughter of former Senator John McCain and one-time failed presidential candidate, actually twice failed presidential candidate, took to The View today to let America know how she really feels about President Trump.
And the way this president is acting is so pathetic and beneath the dignity of this office that it was so offensive to me what he said about your father. You responded and said, "No one will ever love you the way they loved my father. I wish I had been given more Saturdays with him. Maybe spend yours with your family instead of on Twitter obsessing over mine." And I thought, Sonny, that's how you do this.
Except nobody in his family wants to spend time with him. That's the only problem.
Well, I appreciate it with all. It's uncomfortable for everyone because it's obviously about my father, and I'm your co-host, and I really appreciate these wonderful words. Listen, he spends his weekend obsessing over great men because he knows it, and I know it, and all of you know it. He will never be a great man.
I normally wouldn't do this, but I'm going to cut right to the chase on this one, and I realize this involves a grieving daughter who loves her father, but this is not just a situation where we have an individual who's died and a family member wants to defend him. John McCain was not a good man. John McCain should have never been trumped up as a war hero. He was not. He was, in fact, a traitor to the United States. He was, in fact, a corrupt individual. The only reason the president tweeted about John McCain over the weekend had to do with the fact that the New York Times and other media outlets are now finally releasing what we already knew, and that is that John McCain was one of the individuals responsible for pushing forward the phony Russian collusion narrative with the dossier that was paid for by Hillary Rodham Clinton. It was John McCain who put it in the hands of James Comey. And from there, James Comey and the FBI used it to obtain phony FISA warrants so that they could spy on President-to-be Donald Trump. That's not attacking John McCain's character, although it reveals a lot about it, but it is what he did. And that was what Trump tweeted about, and the fact that when we had an opportunity to roll back and repeal Obamacare, John McCain made a big deal about walking into the Senate, what was it, like 1 in the morning, and doing this. This man has worked tirelessly to destroy Donald Trump. Why? Because Donald Trump correctly pointed out John McCain's fictitious war record. The man was a traitor.
To the Vietnamese people and the government of the DRVN, from John Sidney McCain, 624787, Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy, born 29 August 1936, Panama, home state, Florida. Shot down 26 October 1967, A4E aircraft. I, as a U.S. Airman, am guilty of crimes against the Vietnamese country and people. I have bombed their cities, towns, and villages and caused many injuries, even death, to the people of Vietnam. I was captured in the capital city of Hanoi while attacking it. After I was captured, I was taken to the hospital in Hanoi, where I received very good medical treatment. I was given an operation on my leg, which allowed me to walk again, and a cast on my right arm, which was badly broken in 3 places. The doctors were very good, and they knew a great deal about the practice of medicine. I remained in the hospital for some time and regained much of my health and strength. Since I arrived in the camp of detention, I have received humane and lenient treatment. I received disciplinary treatment and food even though I came here as an aggressor, and the people who I injured have much difficulty in their living standards. I wish to express my deep gratitude for my kind treatment, and I will never forget this kindness extended to me.
John McCain colluded with the enemy, and he got preferential treatment. That comes from men who were in the same prison camp as John McCain. Not to mention the 14 television appearances he made on Vietnamese television for the enemy. You heard the tape. When he arrived back stateside, he should have been court-martialed and sent to Leavenworth. Instead, Nixon gave him a pardon. Why do you need a pardon if you didn't do anything wrong? Nixon gave him a pardon. He got himself elected to the United States Senate, got himself on an oversight committee where he had full control over the investigation of MIAs in Vietnam. And he sealed all the records. Tens of thousands of families never knew if their sons actually died or were taken prisoner. They never got to see the records because John McCain had them all sealed because he didn't want the records to reveal what it was he actually did in Vietnam. And that was sing like a songbird, which was his nickname because he was a traitor to the United States. There's nothing great about John McCain. Meghan would do well to remember she specifically told the president, "Don't come to my dad's funeral." President Trump offered the McCain family the use of Air Force One to transport John McCain's deceased body. But he's not acting presidential. You know, I heard that out of Jeb Bush's mouth on the Axelrod interview on CNN. In fact, Jeb Bush actually used the phrase, he doesn't understand the kingliness of the office. I'm going to be really honest with you, and this is all joking aside. This is not hyperbole. I am sick and tired of these corrupt swamp dwellers in Washington. These evil, vile men lecturing all of us on civility and decorum, and evil, vile men calling each other good men. We have Democrats now saying wonderful things about George W. Bush. He was a good man. Oh, I thought he was a war criminal. Well, that's what you told us when you were running against him. See, Democrats, Republicans, that elite oligarch swamp crapola, two sides of the same coin. All of their opposition, it's so phony, it's so fake. The reason they truly hate Donald Trump, get ready, Meghan, he is a great man. Because unlike your father, he's not bought and paid for. Unlike your father, he didn't take money and influence and decide which way the wind was blowing each day before casting votes and then selling this country out once he got to the Senate on deals like NAFTA. Your father was not a great man. But I can tell you one thing your father never got to be that he wanted to be, that Donald Trump is, and that's president. I'm sorry, I saw that View clip and I could not let that stand. I'm sorry, and some people think this is terrible. In fact, CNN started off there, absolutely beneath the office of the president, he can't even let the dead rest. Wait a minute. What got this whole thing started again was the media finally now telling us what we already knew, that John McCain was in it up to his eyeballs with the phony dossier, perpetuating it, propagating it, getting it into the hands of the right people so that a witch hunt could ensue against Donald Trump. But he was a great man? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was an evil, vile man. On the human side of things, he comes home from Vietnam with this trumped up story that, you know, all broken and wounded and horrible treatment in the POW camp. A wife who waited for him, loved him, supposedly nursed him when he was home, only for him to pick up with another woman and ditch the wife. He's a real great man, Meghan. I'm sorry, he's not. Never was. He should have been tried as a traitor. That's the real record of John McCain. That's it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel and you think you can take the heat, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, and get notifications of my next rant.